All right, everybody. So before this episode starts, I will like to say that I did do a live session with Evi. Um, it is at the end of the episode, so if you ever want to see the that portion of it, you can always just skip to the end. Um, Audio listeners, unfortunately, I mean, if you have Spotify, you'll be able to see it, but Apple Podcasts or any other one that you listen to, you won't be able to. You'll be able to listen, you just not see it. But I guess maybe you can still try to imagine what's going on. But for people that watch it on Spotify or YouTube, you'll be able to watch that. But let's just say this is a crazy episode. Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Hello? Can you hear
Uh,
me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, perfect, perfect. Sorry to keep you waiting. I was doing another podcast with my buddy, and we kind of got lost in time.
Oh, no problem.
And, but but I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. Don't worry. But how are you doing?
How are you?
Oh, pretty good. Pretty good.
I'm
Oh,
sorry it's so dark in here. I'm sitting in my car. I just got home and I didn't have time to go in the house, so I figured we just talk right here.
I mean, I can wait for you to go in the house. If that's okay.
Well, it's probably loud in the house too. I have my son is in there and my cousins and stuff, so
Mm, I see. I see. But I didn't think that Polywork app really worked because when I joined it, um, like not even 2 minutes in, I had like two people connecting. I'm like, these must be bots. Like, no way in hell this is even real. And I mean, right now I have another one that this Thursday I have an episode I'm doing with her, and then obviously I'm doing one with you. And I'm like, what the hell? I wouldn't think this app was even real.
right, me too. I found it on I think it was Instagram. It just popped up on Instagram and I was like, well, let me try it. Let me see what happens.
No, I didn't even look. I just did a Google search because I'm like, um, because with like any podcast, I mean, you're gonna get a lot of rejections, and so I was getting a lot of those, and so I was like, who? Because I can only ask so many people that I know. So I'm like, who can I? Who? How am I gonna expand it? Like, how can I reach people that I don't know? Like, get other people that I don't know, especially in other professions that either I never been associated with or or anything. I'm like, how do I do that? I can't just shoot emails locally. I mean, I need to expand my reach, and so I just searched it up on Google, and Polywork was the first one, and I'm like, okay, well, let me do it, and I got connected with some. Two of them never reached back, but you and another lady did, and I'm like, well, let's see if these aren't bots, and lo and behold, I did a Zoom meeting today with her so we could schedule for Thursday, and then obviously you. I'm like, oh shit, and so I might be using that app more.
Yeah, I definitely am gonna use it. I looked into it because I usually do everything through TikTok or Instagram,
Hmm.
but I wanted to expand my reach some, and I know a lot of psychics and tarot card readers. They go live and they do that reading type thing, and I want to do something different. So I was
Hmm.
like, well, I'll look into doing podcasts and going on podcasts and meeting with people that way and see if that is a better fit for me.
And so, it's explain what got you into. Because you said you do more tarot card reading,
Yes, I am a psychic medium tarot card reader.
psychic
Um,
medium.
yes, so I do mediumship, which is where I connect with spirit without the tarot cards, and I
Hmm.
give evidential information, which is basically I'll connect to whatever spirit or whatever energies are around the person, and
Hmm.
share what I see, what I feel, what I smell, and provide them with a message of healing. With the tarot cards, it's a deck of cards, and I, basically connect with their energy, connect with their guides, and use the cards, and whatever messages come to me from the cards, I provide it to whoever I'm reading for.
Yeah, I know. I had a buddy. This is a completely different one. Um, he did the tarot card readings, but I think he just kind of did it thinking it was for him, but then he just kind of stopped. Um, but what, like how does that line of work like how do you know how to do it? Because I know, again, I mean, I know a lot of people, they have their takes when it comes to like psychic mediums, when it comes a lot of things spiritually. A lot of people have their own takes on whether it's real or it's fake, if it's just for entertainment purposes, and yada yada yada. To you, what made you think, oh, I have a niche for this, I feel stuff different that others don't, and I just.
Well, for me, it was I've always been very sensitive to energy since I was a kid,
Hmm.
but I'm very big on lucid dreaming. I used to lucid dream all the time when I was a kid, but I didn't know what that was. And as I got older, I believe I was in my mid to late 30s, and I was in cosmetology school, and one of the girls that I was in class with, she was a tarot card reader, and I had always been curious. So she did a tarot card reading for me, and it just blew my mind what she was able to do with the cards. So I was like, this is interesting. I want to try it. So with using the tarot cards and reading and studying, it opened up my psychic abilities even more, to where
Hmm.
spirit started showing me things, speaking with me. I had things that some people call them coincidences or centrosities happen, and it was just like, this is just, this is too real. This is real. And from there, I just saw that I have, a natural knack with it, and I'm really good at it. So I just decided to just, continue to study, continue to practice, and just, see where it takes
Interesting, and that's I never, because I mean I know, man, I mean, I believe like everyone probably has had like lucid dreams before, and um I don't know, I'm just kind of that person. Like, it's not that I don't believe in like any of that type of stuff, it because sometimes I can feel it and I'm like, holy shit, but then sometimes I'm just like, I don't. It's kind of hard to believe, like the psychic mediums that you see, like obviously on TV and whatnot. Do you believe those are more for entertainment purposes on what they do or say, or when you see them do it, is it the same type of practice, or is it just more for the entertainment type of purpose?
that's hard for me to answer, because I focus on me and what I'm doing with it. I don't
Hmm.
focus on what other people are doing with it, because there are a lot of people out here who are scammers, and so they will, do this and do that, and do it this way and that way, and whatever they do works for them. I focus on what I'm doing with it and how I'm doing it.
Yeah. And have you ever tried to um like do tarot card readings to other people, or like try to do your services to other people, and like how do you like do they not believe you sometimes? How do you try to like stick yourself out to not being like scamming people? Like how do you like if you do it, like if you do like your tarot card readings or whatever, like how do you try to convince someone, this, I'm doing this because this is what I can feel, this is what I can do, I'm not trying to scam you for money, this is just what I can do.
Well, what I do is I let people come to me. Like, I use my TikTok and my Instagram. I post things, like how I do it, or I post like little readings here and there, or different little just informational type of things regarding spirituality. And I let people come to me, and I give them a reading, and I let them decide, how
Hmm.
they feel about it. I don't try and push anything on anyone, because it's not for me to do that. My job as the medium is to share the message. That's all I'm supposed to do. Share a message that's helpful and healing. That's all I'm supposed to do. Whether or not they believe it is on them. And
Mm-hmm.
more often than not, people, believe it and come back to me for my services.
Mm-hmm. Interesting, interesting. Like, when you ever like, I don't know, ever do you ever enter like a building, or even sometimes just talk to people? Do you sometimes feel like that energy, like you can like feel that around them, and or in the building, you can feel like the energy either in the building or around just like even just one person, and it's like just like that heavy or just a really any type of energy. Like, do you like point it out here and there, kind of say, oh hey, by the way, I can feel this around you, or like I can feel why you're sad because I can feel this energy around you, or in the building you're like, oh my God, it feels frightening in here because of this just sad energy that I feel here, or something like.
No, when I go into certain spaces, I can feel different things, but
Mhm.
I don't necessarily share it with people unless it's like necessary. And when I'm around other people, I feel things about people all of the time, but it's not my job to walk up to someone and tell them, "Look, I see this person that's near you," and da 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 da. That's, in my opinion, that's breaking a boundary, and it's disrespectful because just because I have this gift and I can do those things doesn't mean that that person wants that done. Like, I'm very
Mhm.
big on consent. I'm very big on consent. And to be in a space, like I do things all the time. I go to the grocery store, I go to the bank, I, go to my son's school, and I feel things all the time. But it's not my job to go up to someone and tell them what I'm seeing or feeling about them. That's an invasion of privacy. So yeah, I don't do that. There are people who do that, but I'm not one of those people.
Mhm. Like, has there ever been a time it kind of almost slipped out because of just how strong it was, that in your mind you just wanted to say something, but and like it almost did, but you kind of caught yourself. You're like, oh no, I gotta
No,
step back.
but what does happen when when a message comes on strong like that, um, usually something will happen where a person will say something to me or ask me about something, and in conversation, I can share something from my point of view. But I don't go to people and just give them messages. That, to me,
Hmm.
that's rude. I think that's rude. I wouldn't want someone to do that to me. Like, just come up to me and tell me this and tell me that about me. That's rude in my opinion. So I don't do that to people.
I mean, that's with all, like I said, the invasion of privacy. I mean, 'cause how would it feel, just up at the grocery store, and then just someone that you never even heard of, never talked to, comes to you,
Hmm.
says, "Hey, I'm sorry for your loss." You're like, "What the hell? I don't know you." Like,
Right. Yeah. That's
you're like, "I don't know who you are."
that's and I operate. I'm very big on. I don't do things to other people that I would want them to do to me.
Hmm.
So I don't. Yeah, I don't do that. I let people come to me and inquire, with me about what I can do and if they want me to do it for them. But I don't go to people and ask them. I just think that's really, it's tacky and it's rude.
Like, and with that type of energy, well, not just that type of energy, but just, has there ever been a time, like an energy has just been so strong that even when you went home, it kind of get hit you emotionally, or like either when you were around someone or at a place, it was just so strong that you went back, you're like, oh my God, like I kind of need to lie down for a bit because it's kind of just hit me a little bit too hard, or.
Not in my day to day things, not like that. What I have had happen is I'll do a reading for someone,
Hmm.
and it'll be like, it was, they came to me, they wanted me to do a reading. I do a reading for someone, and the things that came out in the reading were very heavy, and I'll have to come home and cleanse myself energetically to get rid of, that heaviness, that heavy energy. But I've never been like in a place or around, just random places and that happens. You know.
And what do you do to like cleanse yourself from that?
I like to take saltwater baths, pink Himalayan saltwater baths, or I take spiritual baths. I do a lot of work with rosemary and thyme cinnamon, and I take baths with that. Or there's a product called Florida water that I
Hmm.
can spray on myself around my aura, and that'll help cleanse me. I also burn different types of herbs around myself to cleanse my energy and things of that like that.
And like with the whole like the burning the herbs and well, I guess just everything that you said, like just someone who, let's say, is skeptical about, the whole about all of that, like how would you try to explain to them on why or how it does like cleanse your energy, like cleanse like your soul and whatnot for someone
Well,
who is skeptical?
with when you burn herbs, certain particular herbs, like I said, I enjoy using rosemary, palo santo, um, thyme. I use cinnamon. The smoke from those herbs collects the negative energy and is able to transmute it and move it into another space and move it into like a positive energy. With water, water by itself is very cleansing, even without salt in it, because we use water to wash our bodies. So water energetically does the same thing. It removes those things out of your aura and away from your body.
And do you think would you kind of consider meditation to be in that type of like cleansing or no? Or was
I wouldn't. I guess you could say meditation can be a form of cleansing. I use meditation more as a way to um, focus and direct my energy into positive things, or to help with manifesting and to just slowing your thoughts down and focusing. A lot of people think that with meditation you're supposed to cut your thoughts off, but that's not what meditation's for. Meditation helps you to bring your awareness and your attention to what you're actually thinking about, and to control what is actually on the forefront of your brain.
actually when a lot of people, because I used to meditate. I mean, I guess I need to continue meditating. But when I first started, well, not even when I first heard about meditating, I just thought, oh, that's just some hippie type of shit. Like that's just what those hippies do or whatever. But then as I started, I guess when I started wanting a career for myself and just a bunch of other life stuff that happened and how I wanted to just manifest a better, just to, like better myself, better my future, excuse me, and just a better self of me. I'm like, how do I do it? Because one of the biggest things ever is like obviously the mental health, and I'm like, so how do I like what can I do to fix that? Because I know a lot of people will say, "Oh, do this, do that," but it's never more like in the mental health. It's more just, oh, if you have enough money, just do this or whatever. It's like, for me right now in my time in my space, what can I do right now to help me? And so I went back to meditating, and I'm like, okay, I was a little bit hesitant. I mean, I've never meditated, and for me it was hard because even though I meditated, and then they say, like how you said, when it says clear out your thoughts or clear out a lot of the negative energy in your head and just think on the positive. I always had thoughts, and the minute a thought came in, more thoughts came in, and then at that point I'm not meditating. I'm just thinking of the same stuff with my eyes closed. And um yeah, I mean, to me, as I kept doing it, it was starting to become easier. um and but then obviously once I I got busy again. I mean, it's not that's not an excuse. It's just one of those things that it started feeling kind of like a job, and I'm like, I don't want to. Because I always wanted to meditate around like in the morning, like around 8 when close to when I woke up, and I believe setting it at a time made it feel like a job. And so then I'm like, it, and that's when I kind of stopped because it, at that point, it wasn't, I'm meditating to try to, clear out a negative energy, yada, yada, yada. It was more, oh, I gotta do it. It's 8 o'clock now. I gotta go do it now. And I believe that was my problem. Um, I know I need to keep doing it. Well, start back up. Um, but no, because I come from a Mexican household. I mean, I live in an apartment right now with my girlfriend, but back home, I mean, my mom, she's into a lot of like the spiritual stuff, and she'll sometimes use herbs and whatnot. She'll smoke around, and I know, uh, I don't know what she does, but I know sometimes she'll use. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but um, she used an egg from the fridge and would rub it on me around my whole body,
Uh-huh.
saying something in Spanish, and then in a cup of water would crack the egg, and then it would form something. She'd look at it and say, that's why you're feeling this way, because this is what the egg's showing me, and whatever this egg is showing, like the egg, I don't know if it was the egg white or just everything. It's like whatever it's like representing, it's what's making you feel like it's what making you feel like that. And I always thought it was bullshit until one day she did it on my sister, and I looked, and I could almost see a pair of eyes, and she said, um, about, oh yeah, it's because of, just the eye, like the wandering eyes on your sister just made her feel uncomfortable, and yada yada yada. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how does that work?
It's an
And
egg plant.
you knew what you knew what I'm talking about, because you just said yup. The minute I said egg, you're like, yup, I know what you're talking about. I'm like,
I think it's called a Olympia cleanse or something like that.
I don't know. She said it in Spanish. I don't. She just say some stuff in Spanish and rub it all over me, and then like how does that work?
It's just that's a old school thing. That's just it's an old school thing. I've never done an egg cleanse. I'm familiar with the practice, but I've never done them. It's just like Rolling Stones, or there are people who can cut animals open and read the entrails of the animal and tell you what's going on or what's going to happen to someone. It's a form of divination. The tarot card reading, mirror scrying, pendulum, all that stuff is just different forms of divination.
Hmm. Damn. So looks like my mom. Well, I guess it is she knew it for that from my grandma. I know they do a bunch of other stuff. I know another one that she will sometimes do, if you can't go to sleep, not because you're sick or anything, but just because just you just have a lot of bad energy attached to you. She always tells me, go to the kitchen, get a glass of water, put
They,
it put it under your bed, and then you'll realize how that will make you go to sleep. And I'm like, that's bogus. Putting a glass of water under my bed, and it it would work. It would work, and I don't know how. I go back and I'm like, how? And she's like, I don't know. This is what my mom, aka my grandma, would always do, and we do it, and it works. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what? Like, I don't know how any of that shit works.
it's interesting because a lot of things, even in my practices, it's like I can't explain why this works, but it works. It works, and because it works, I continue to do it. It just is. That's the best way to say it. It just is.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, that's I still look back on that type of stuff, and I'm just like how? Like I forgot what I know there was something else um that she would do. I forgot what else it was, but um I'm trying to remember. I don't think it's like anything to do with like anything just like spiritually. I think it's just her using just herbs and whatnot, and it's just basically saying, if you burn, I think it's cinnamon or something. I forgot what it was. But burn it to where it's like almost in a charcoaly powder, mixed with a bunch of other stuff, um, and then swallow it, and then she would say something. If, like, let's say, if you just like had indigestion or just like stomach problems or whatever, or it's like a stomach ache or whatever, so like just do this, Oh, it was. I think it was the cinnamon, like the charcoal-ish cinnamon, mixed it with like sugar and oil, and then you just swallow it, and then supposedly it should help, and it does. I don't know why. I don't. A lot of this stuff just. Excuse me. A lot of this stuff is just. That's why I'm not so much of a skeptic because I had a mom that did it, and I'm how does this work? like like especially I mean Mexico, a lot of they, I mean, really anyone, but like I know like a lot of grandparents in Mexico are into a lot of like that heavy type of stuff, like the just a lot of that, and I'm just like like, I don't I don't know. I mean I don't know, um, and it's weird because talking about like energy and whatnot, um, I'm not saying I'm sensitive to energy, but I know one day when my grandpa passed away and we went to go visit his grave, it was weird because there was a lot because they were still building it. Like he was already on the ground and everything, but um, because my grandma paid some fancy money to get him the fancy type of grave, like almost a full temple type of grave. Um, they had the line where there were obviously the measurements, all the fun stuff, and it was weird because when we weren't, when I didn't cross the rope, I was just fine. Like I wasn't, like I don't know why I just wasn't emotional, even though my own grandpa just wasn't emotional. The minute I crossed over that line, it a full energy of just sadness and hurt and just hit me, and I almost just wanted to cry almost instantly. And it was weird because I never felt that when I crossed the line. Like when I was out of the line, I was just fine. I crossed it, bam, I felt the sadness. I'm like, what the fuck? Like
Yeah. I have a difficult time going to funerals because I can feel everyone else's sadness. And like I've gone to funerals as like a supportive person with someone,
mhm,
like I didn't even know the person who had passed,
mhm,
and I was in there crying too because it was just I could feel everybody's sadness. And it was too much. And at that time it was before I knew that I was as sensitive to energy as I am. And it would be too much. It was just too much. But now, I know different things that I can do to kind of, shield that. But when you
mhm.
are sensitive and you don't know, then you can feel all of that.
Yeah, and it's weird because it was just because I've gone to other funerals too, but it was just over on his. I'm like, why did I just feel it more? Eh,
Because y'all had that connection.
Yeah, I
That's your
mean,
grandpa.
yeah, I mean, more from my dad's side. Well, my dad's dad. So, and he lived 2 houses away from us. So, um, but then the but then the scary, creepy thing is, um, he came to our house, I believe, like 2-ish days before they left to Mexico, and he was talking about how he could just sense he wasn't gonna come back, and not because like not like oh like he was gonna stay there forever. I guess in a way, if you think about it, in a way, yes, he's stay there forever. But like he was just kept telling us, I don't feel like I'm gonna return back here. And sure enough, he 2-3 days later we got the call that he passed away. And like, do you think that had to do anything like like when it came to like the energy or like spiritually or anything? Do you think when he could sense it, do you think like it had anything to do with it? Or
Um, he probably could. I know there are a lot of people um, who have said that someone close to them, especially older people, it's like they can tell, they can start to feel like yeah, it's coming, and it's like an energy type thing. They just start to feel like yeah, it's almost time for me to go, or it's going to be close to time for me to go. Like that's cute.
oh no,
that
it's my girlfriend. She was walking away because she's gonna get some pizza, and so she was just telling me that she loves me, and so I told her I love you too. But
I know I saw that. I thought that is cute.
yeah,
I love.
Yeah, I didn't want it to think I was telling you. No, I was telling my girlfriend because she was
No.
walking away.
But
But
yes, a lot of older people can tell when it gets closer to time. They can pick up on that energy.
man, it's kind of scary. I mean, not even just old people, kind of anyone. I mean, um, really, just anyone can sense any type of energy, and in a way, it's kind of scary. I mean, um, like I know it's gonna be like, I guess, kind of like a weird question, but um, what are real? Are ghosts real or are the spirits real?
Um, Ghosts supposedly are like spirits, but like a heavy, energetic spirit in a space.
Mm-hmm.
Themselves can move anywhere. I think a ghost is something that is like an energetic thing that is stuck to a particular space.
Mm-hmm.
That if I guess that's the best way. I can't say that I've ever dealt with any ghosts necessarily. I deal more with like just spirits in general, like different types of energies, like nature spirits, angels, goddesses, gods, animal spirits, ancestors, things of that nature. Like a ghost is more of just like a what's the word I'm looking for? It's an imprint, an energetic imprint into something. And
Mm-hmm.
you see these energetic imprints in places a lot of times where there's been like heavy, um, traumatic experiences or just like heavy energy. Like a lot of these psychiatric hospitals from like the 1800s where they did like
Mm.
horrible stuff to people.
Yeah.
Places are have ghosts and things like that because it's such a heavy energetic imprint that was like, they used to torture those people. So that's a heavy imprint and things like that. Or even like in people's homes, there are families who've had homes for like 20, 30, 40 years. The family members passed in the home. That's a heavy energetic imprint on a home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's my opinion about, there's
Yeah.
people, have their opinions of what a ghost is and stuff, but that's my personal opinion.
And like, so then when people say like this place is haunted, like, do you believe in the term haunted, or do you kind of use a different term? Like, it's not haunted, it's more like, I don't know, like maybe it's a spirit attached to the property or something. Like is there, like,
Um,
you know what I mean? Like when people says haunted, does that kind of like cringe you and say no, that's not the right word you should be using? Or is it one of those where it's like that word is used too much that it's just at this point people are just taking it out of context of what haunting really means?
well,
Mm.
I always look at I people use particular terms based on their understanding of things.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone says haunted, I immediately understand what it is that they're trying to say. Um, when I say some a place is haunted, maybe not. I might say something like there's a lot of heavy energy in a space, or there's like a huge energetic imprint. I might say haunted, I might not. It depends on who the context of the conversation and who I'm having the conversation with.
Mm-hmm. I see. And and like, have you ever had to deal with like any? Because how you said you've done like with like the angels, the gods, goddesses, all that. Have you ever had to deal with like the bad energy, like any like demonic energy or anything? Is there a term like for like a demonic energy, or is it just a completely different like term? Like, have you ever had to deal with just any of that type of bad energy?
I'm gonna have to say no.
Oh.
However, what we believe to be like demons and bad energies and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
it's tricky to me, in my opinion, because demons have their place in this practice, And a lot of what people know about demons and demonic energy is TVs and movies and things like that.
Hmm.
Um, are there energies that are low vibrational and don't mean us well? Yes, there absolutely are. I believe it. I When I deal with the spirit world, I deal with the spirit world in the same way that I deal with people.
Hmm.
Because there are people who are negative and evil or bad that I don't want to be around. And it's the same thing. There are energies that are negative and don't mean me well and I don't want to be around. And there are, good people and good energies. So there's balance in everything. So you can't have one without the other. I
Yeah.
haven't had any energies um bother me or anything like that. I haven't had anything that I felt was negative that all the energies that I've encountered, I've been able to have a good rapport with. So I
Yeah.
haven't anything, But are there energies out there like that? Yes, I do believe there are.
Nice. Yeah. So do you think just TV show, it's kind of just that same thing. TV in the entertainment world. Let me just put it that way. The entertainment world. Do you think they just kind of, I guess, kind of in a way, like I won't say fantasize, but just out of context, like I had the term in my head and I forgot it. But like how you said with like when it came to like demons and whatnot, just like it kind of made its way more into the entertainment world. So now people kind of associate it more just how people see a demon. Like they just see you know a guy with horns or some shit. Like I forgot the term I was gonna use. Like I was gonna ask you a good question and I forgot what fucking term I was gonna use. It just went out of my head and fuck, I forgot. God damn it! I hate when that happens. Cause cause what I do is I like to do everything natural. Like maybe I might look into just like quick information, but I want to do everything natural where questions come up that I can ask rather than it be pre-planned out because um I tried that once and I kind of don't follow the script because maybe the first two questions, but then after that, they may give me a good answer, and out of that answer, I now create another question of, let's say someone told me about, I don't know, their abusive childhood, and then I'll ask them, why do you think your dad was like that? Like, why do you think your dad was abusive child? Do you think from his childhood he had an abusive family or whatever? And that in the questions that I might have in my hand never may ask that. I'm now asking them, you know, a question based on the answer they gave me because I feel that it's better than pre-planned. So
Right.
sometimes when I have a question and I kind of just forget because if I'm focused on what you're saying, and sometimes I might have it loaded, and then when I'm focused, and then when it's time, I'm like, oh, I had it, but I forgot. Uh, but I guess I can try to do a different one. Um, because you know how you're more like with like the energies and whatnot. Um when people bring up like the paranormal, is that kind of like in your guys' like field in like your guys' area, or is that in a completely different, or is that more tied to like the church? Like,
Um, I would consider what I do to fall underneath of I guess I could, yeah, paranormal. Um, because like even the word paranormal is like not normal or weird or whatever. But yeah,
yeah.
I would say it falls under paranormal. Yeah.
And so like when obviously when you hear like other than like the demonic and whatnot, but like the other terms like poltergeist, like when you see like hear and see them, again for how you know it, is it different from what is portrayed? I mean, obviously in shows, I mean, you're not gonna have a fucking spirit throw a whole fridge at you. I mean, it's a lot of it can be entertainment purposes, but um like have you ever had like have to go through those type of terms like the poltergeist and whatnot, or do you not really have to go through any of that? Like know most of that.
Yeah, I haven't had anyone ask me about like poltergeist or anything like that. I haven't really even had anybody ask me about like hauntings or anything like that. Mostly people ask me about connecting to their ancestors, or lately I've had a lot of people ask me about uh, their psychic abilities, like the different types of ways that you can receive psychic messages, or the different
Hmm.
types of ways that you read energy. Because there's
Yeah.
about 5 or 6 different types of ways, and that's what a lot of people tend to ask me about.
Hmm. And
I did have one person ask me about the afterlife, like what was my view about the afterlife, and had spirit ever told me anything about the afterlife. But besides that, like I've never really talked to anyone about poltergeist or anything like that.
well, now you just brought up a good one. What are your thoughts about the afterlife?
Um, I believe that we are all energy, and
Hmm.
while we're here on Earth, like our human bodies are basically our spacesuits that our souls use to go through life lessons and experience life on here in the 3D. And when we go when these suits expire, our energy goes back to whatever source it was supposed to where it's supposed to be, and whatever our energy is supposed to do next is what it does next. I don't have like a specific like we go to heaven, we go to hell, we we do this or we do that, and the spirits that I've engaged with have never like shared any of that type of information. Um, Maybe in a few years someone will or won't. I don't know, but right now, like my view is like we're energy, and the energies can come here and go wherever else they go and bounce back and forth. That's all I know about it right now.
That's kind of in my head. That have been in my head sometimes where, um, with how you said, we're just, um, us as humans, we're just really deeply, we're just spirits in a body, and when our time goes, our spirit goes away too. But I feel, but like sometimes, when it comes to like when you can feel like the energy or sometimes like the spirits in the room, to me, I'm like, that's that spirit that passed away, that their body passed away, but then themselves, they're not ready to let go yet, so that's why they are still here. um that was something I can sense it too, because like you, I mean, yes, I mean, I'm a Catholic. I've been Catholic all my life. However, um I I am kind of more of a skeptic as I grew up, because I started questioning them, because of, is there really truly heaven or hell? I mean, how does anyone know? And they'll just tell you about the Bible. It's like, but the Bible has been translated thousands and thousands of times, where the original meaning, if you look at the original Bible from whenever it first was written till now, it's a completely different meaning. And another argument that I will say is, if there's supposedly one God, why are there multiple religions? And if the Bible is the only book, why is there the Quran? Why is there that? Why is there a bunch of other books that tells them that there's only one God? Like, why is there all these only one gods? No one knows why there's only, like, because what I think is, those people believe in their own God. There isn't no true God. It's just people believe in their own God, and they just kind of, create. They just get people to believe in their own God, because why is there, Catholicism, Christianity, all these, when all of them are similar, yeah, just different takes, or different, just different stuff are in it, but just similar. It's like, well, if they're similar, once you just categorize them as all one, oh no, I mean, no, the yada 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 yada. I'm like, well, now that makes no sense, because now you're saying my God doesn't exist, but your God does, and I don't know. To me, it was just seemed really hard, especially because when you look back in history, like the Crusades were people basically saying, if you don't believe in our God, we're gonna kill you. Like, and so it's like, does that really leave a good meaning? Like,
Right.
if you're being a Christian or a Catholic, are you really supposed to be bragging, when if you look at history, and history shows these are the Crusades, and the Crusades. where war is basically stating, you don't join us, you don't join our group, you're gonna die because you don't believe in our God. It's like that makes no sense. Like
Yeah.
to me, uh, and then also another thing, um, in I think in one of the Ten Amendments or whatever they're called, I don't know if it's the first one. I forgot which one it is. It has to do with something with imagery. Um, and I forgot how they state it, but basically like imagery, and it's funny because the cross is an imagery of like like God or whatever you want to call it. Because every time someone sees a cross, has to do with with like God or Jesus or whatever. But in one of the amendments say do not associate him with any imagery, but you're associating him with the cross, and every church is a cross. So you aren't you now breaking one of the amendments? Aren't you now like you know what I mean? It's like aren't you now like
Yep.
it's like it's like policy at work when someone says, "Hey, you can only do this because policy states so," but then you do what policy doesn't want you to do. It's like, well, aren't you now breaking your own policy? It's like, well, aren't you now breaking one of the amendments? Like, so then it's like, so why does a cross signify this when anything could really signify it? Because you can state anything can because it's telling you do not state him with anything. And I don't know. Like, to me, it's I the more experience in life and whatnot, it's always hard for me to really believe in like just like really just in religion in general. Like I respect people. I'm not gonna saying, oh you gotta like oh your religion sucks. I mean I still respect people. Whatever they believe in. But to me it's always hard to believe in it. And um when it comes to like that spiritual type of like connection or like kind of like that energy, to me I believe that a little bit more because if just like what you were telling me with just with what you do. I mean, it's just, to me, I feel like I believe that more than reading a book and going it based off that. I mean,
Yeah.
because if I can feel it and sense it, I believe it more than just reading a book and forcing myself to believe it without really experiencing anything.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
also
That's a
like, oh my bad. It's also like you're telling me we find fossils from millions and millions of years ago, but there's nothing of the Bible. There's nothing of anything original.
right.
But you but you know but we find fossils? Like that makes zero sense to me now.
Hmm. I agree. And part of my spiritual awakening, where I really like engage myself more into this practice, was I started reading the Bible.
Hmm.
And I read it from front cover to back cover, and I saw a whole lot of stuff in it that I didn't understand because it didn't make sense. And then I saw that when I would ask people about it to gain understanding, it's like nobody wanted to answer questions. Everybody's like,
Hmm.
well, yeah, that's just what it is. This is what it is. And I'm like, well, I can't live my life like that. I need, some more. I need, more understanding. So yeah, I get it. With this, when I connect to spirit and I get these messages and I share these messages, I feel that. I can feel it. I can see it in my mind's eye. I can smell it. In some cases, I can, taste some of what, spirit is trying to tell me. But I don't get that in just reading and following the Bible.
Hmm.
So,
Exactly. That's how I was when people would say just like the power of manifestation. I know that's read a lot in the Bible, and but then because then when you think about it, it's like well. Obviously the power of manifestation, everyone knows how that goes. But I mean, if you truly want something to happen, you're gonna have to go and put in that work. You can manifest it into it, but the only way by manifesting into your life is by doing that work. You may manifest it for an opportunity for your mind to change the route. Like if you want to manifest $1 million, you might start seeing other opportunities that can happen, but it only takes you to go do it for it to happen compared to just pray and hope it goes. It's like I don't know how much I need to believe that because if you're gonna pray and hope it goes, but still live your normal life, most of the time you're gonna stick to the normal. You're just gonna stick to it, and you're never gonna be the millionaire because you don't. Because because like so some people will say, well, if you don't pray, it won't happen. It's like no, if it's not that if you don't pray, it won't happen. It's you can pray all you want, but if you go do it, you can say it's a blessing from God. But how much of it is it really a blessing from God, or is it a blessing from yourself because you went to go do it? Compared to people who pray, are still working, and still don't get the money they want. And then it's like, is it like, is God on your side, or is that just, you know, or is that just you not putting in a different type of work, seeing a different route and putting it in, just putting in that work? Like, I don't know, like again, when I with the whole meditating and whatnot, when I would when people were talking about the power of manifestation, I didn't even think about the Bible at all. I just thought about this, and then when people would say, "Oh yeah, this comes from the Bible," yada yada yada, I'm like, "Oh well, I see it differently." And that for what I want to do, I'm putting in that work because if I prayed I want to make a podcast but never started one, I would
Mhm.
never have one.
Right.
Let's say, you know, I pray that I start a podcast and I make 6 figures a month, but I never started one. It's like I could keep praying but never do it, and then say, "Well, God, why don't you ever give me a podcast that gives me six figures a month?" It's like, well, because I never did it. I never went to go do it, and I don't know. To me, it's just hard to believe that type of stuff. And
They're the same. Faith without works is dead, which is basically, that's in the Bible too. Like faith without works, it's like you can pray all you want, but if you don't put that work in, what's the point?
yeah, I mean, and because I see people, they get to where they want to get to, again, become a millionaire, or finally, get out of the hellhole of a family, and they finally, start a better family, or whatever the case may be. Um, they prayed, but they went to go put in that work, and it worked. Not because they prayed, it's because they put in the work. And I feel like, to me, when people pray, it's just what do you call it? Kind of like a reassurance to themselves on where they want to be. Of I pray, I want, like when people want to, um, let's say, if just at the moment, let's say, you know, your mom passes away, and you pray that, that you don't want that to happen to you. It's just to me, it's just a reminder of, you're wishing that, you just pray that this doesn't happen to you next. So it's just a reminder for you to still wake up and put in the work so it doesn't happen. Because I mean, stuff can happen, obviously, and it happens to anything, but it's just a daily reminder to still push yourself to not to like focus on your health, because health is wealth. Focus on all that so that doesn't happen. And I don't know, to me, I don't know, to me, it's still just really hard, when it comes to like religion, to believe a lot of that stuff. Because again, for what I just told you, I mean, it's 'cause again, you read in the Bible, and some of it you realize, and you're like, well, you guys must not be reading, because it's definitely telling you, like what you said um with the whole faith thing. It's like, if it's basically telling you, just because you pray and don't do it, it's not gonna work. You gotta, if you pray and do it, it'll work. But if you don't, good luck. Like, I
Right.
can only do so much. Like, I don't know. And then also, another hard thing is, um when you go to some of the churches, Jesus is white,
Yes, that is
and
a problem.
and because then when you historically look back and you realize where he comes from, you're like, well, shouldn't he be darker skinned? Shouldn't he be a darker brown, almost black? Shouldn't he be this and that because of where he came from? But then you go to church, like, why is this dude white as hell with blonde hair, like, or with like brunette hair? Like, what? And that's what to me. It's hard to believe because again, you look and you're like, some of this isn't accurate. If you truly look back, some of this shit ain't accurate. And like with energies, when like the energy readings or just energies in general, someone can tell you it's not real, but when you feel it, you're like, I don't know, I feel it, like I can sense it, like with you being a psychic medium and everything, you can feel it, and you're like, this isn't a scam. No, what I do isn't a scam because I know what I'm doing because I can feel it, I can sense it, I can do what I can do, and and with that, it can be more reliable because when someone wants an answer, they go to you, and you can give them the best answer that you can give them, and if they don't want to hear it, you're like, I'm sorry, but this is what I'm giving you. I mean, and
And
because
I've been blessed with having people come to me who are open to what I'm telling them, to their messages.
hmm
Because there are a lot of skeptics. And if you're a skeptic already trying to get a reading, it can be hard for you because you're not open to it. A lot of this work requires like being open and not, shutting your energy down.
hmm
Oh,
Uh,
oh, I'm sorry. I disappeared for a second. Or you disappeared for a second.
oh no, you're good, you're good. Um, oh no, I mean, have you ever had to deal with this a very hard skeptic that like it, I guess you could just say it was just hard to convince them, or even after they still didn't seem convinced, and you're like, well, I did the best I could to convince you, man. Like, I mean,
Yes, I've had a couple people who it wasn't that they weren't convinced. It was more of the um the particular spirit that was coming through that I was um telling them about. They were saying that they didn't know who it could have been.
mm,
The message that the spirit gave to them, they did understand that message, and that message resonated, but they weren't able to recognize the spirit, which can make sense because um, sometimes we have family members who have passed on before we were even born, who are in spirit watching us and looking over us. And if you never met this person, then I'm describing them, you wouldn't know who I'm talking about. So it's a lot for me. It's about the message. Was the message I gave you, was it healing? Was it helpful? How do you feel afterwards? And that's the big thing because I've
hmm
had that happen a few times. I've had people. I've even had uh, a family member of a friend of the person who was actually getting the reading. Like the lady sitting in front of me, her
hmm
friend, family member who had passed on, was who came through to give the message. And the message wasn't for the lady who was sitting in front of me, it was actually for her friend. So I've had things like that happen also.
mm, interesting. And when you do all those type of like readings, is it more kind of just like a sit down like at the person's residence, or do they sometimes do it like in a FaceTime call or like in a video chat call? Like, is it or like?
I usually do mine through Zoom. I pretty much do most of mine through Zoom. Um, I have done them at pop up. Like we have these
Mhm.
little pop up. Do y'all have pop up shops out where you are?
And I mean, I live in Lincoln, Nebraska. I'm a Nebraska boy. uh,
Well,
I believe I've seen a few. I believe I've
so
seen a
we
few.
have I'm in the Baltimore area right now, but I'm originally from the DC area. And throughout this area we have pop up shops where like a person will rent out like a large space and invite different small businesses to come in and vend. And you'll just have like all these different vendors, and I'll go and I'll set up a table, I make smudge sticks and little body sprays and things like that, and I'll sell those, and I'll do readings at those also. And so I'll have people come to me and they sit in front of me and I do the reading that way. But the majority of my readings I do through Zoom.
You know. So can you do one right now, or is that like a pay service?
Um, I mean, I don't mind doing one for you. I just with this call, I thought we were just gonna kind of discuss everything to do the actual um like recording for the podcast. Because
Oh,
there's
yeah.
like there's like a preparation. Like I need to meditate and connect
Oh,
before I actually because I'm kind of like just finishing my errands and hopping on here. So
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I don't want to give you. I want to give you like the 100%.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean? The reading,
yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I
Uh,
definitely want to do a reading for you on your podcast. Yeah.
all right, perfect. I guess at a different time, if you want, like a different day, we can just you can probably invite me to a Zoom meeting, and then that way, I can always attach it to the end of the episode. And then that way we can do a reading. I might either do one with either me or me and my girlfriend when if she's available at the time, and then right there, I mean, attach it so then people can also if they read it that far, or if even you read it or see it that far, people can see okay, they talked about it, then whatever, but now she actually did it, you know, in real time, and so now it gives that genuine feel because we could talk about it and then not do it, and then some people can be like, oh yeah, that's cool, but then doing it, they're like, oh my God, like some people may have never been able to do that or never been able to experience that, and so then hearing it, you're like, oh my God, like they're doing it, I want to listen to it, you know what I mean, like it's that like oh um, no, but yeah, yeah, you can invite me to a Zoom meeting and we can do it at a separate time. And I can always attach it to this episode. That's cool with you.
Yep. Fine. Yep.
Perfect. Um, but other than that, I mean, I don't really know what other more I have. Um, it was it was great talking to you. I mean, it was good to hear your side uh, of just of the whole spiritual side. I mean, and the energy side. I mean, it's always good to meet people that aren't people that I know. Because and it's people that come from uh, just from any type of career. I mean, it's always good to hear them and hear what they got to say and whatnot. I
Thank
mean,
you for having me.
thank you for putting in your interest because again, I just thought people on Polywork were just bots. A lot of the time that I was gonna get because of how quick I got, and I'm like, I feel like these are just bots. Because then when I would send a, I know this other guy, I sent a message. It took like 2 days to even get another response from him, and then he just completely stopped. So I thought, oh, it's a bot, or it's just people that want to like get you excited, but then say, ah, never mind. Kind of like, yeah. And so I was like, I don't know, and but I might actually be using that app more. I appreciate you actually, you know, uh, wanting to do it. Um, and like I said, yeah, you can invite me to a Zoom meeting, and then we can do that, and then I can attach it. Um, I can send you, I can give you the name of my podcast because it's available everywhere: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Pandora, and all those is available everywhere. And so you can either listen to my old ones or when this one comes out, you can listen to it. Because how I do it, every Sunday are the guest episodes, or when the guest episodes are published. I always like to do the guest episodes before Sunday, so then when it's Sunday, it's already pre-uploaded, so it's already ready. And then every other Thursday, I'm still thinking about keeping it as a solo episode, just a small, quick episode of kind of an update of me or just what I have in my mind, or just kind of completely just not do it anymore. Because sometimes I really don't know what to talk about, and so it's kind of like I'm just forcing stuff out of my head, and so that's why I don't know if I still should. I'm still thinking about it, but for every Sunday. it's specifically guests. Again, I always do it before Sunday, but Sunday is when the episode's out. I didn't have one yesterday because I caught the flu. Still have it.
Oh,
Yeah, so I couldn't.
I hope that.
I should be better, hopefully by tomorrow or Wednesday. I was just Friday. My worst days were Friday and Saturday. Those were my worst days, and Sunday also kind of. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing one today. I mean, I just don't feel good. And but but I'll. I guess invite me to Zoom meeting. I'll send you because I have your email. I'll send you through email or even through the Polywork. I'll just message you through there the name of the podcast. You can criticize it all you want when you invite me to the Zoom meeting. I mean, I'm still new to all of this, so
Not at
criticize
all.
me all you want. Criticize me. I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it to heart. Don't worry. But all right, well, yeah, just uh, email me or message me on it when you're able to do it, and like whenever you're ready to do it and everything, and I'll tell you when I can. Huh?
Hey,
Oh, is that? I can't hear you now.
My sound went out. Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I was saying, are you available tomorrow?
Tomorrow I am busy all day. Tomorrow. Let's see.
1 second. I'm trying to
I
connect.
am I am free Thursday.
I'm trying to be better with technology.
Oh no, you're good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Um, yes, but so I'll look at my schedule for the one day this week, and I'll send you the message through Polywork and let you know what day this week.
All right, perfect. Sounds good.
Okay.
All right, I might be able to actually also do it Wednesday anytime before 3 as well. But Thursday I'm free all day, so
Okay. Well, Thursday, I'm gonna look at my schedule and see about Thursday, and yeah, maybe we can do it on Thursday.
all right, perfect.
Thank you
All
so
right,
much for having me.
course. Do you have an outro or any fancy saying you want to say as the outro?
Not yet. I got to put one together.
All righty, sounds
If
good.
anyone wants to reach me, I'm on Instagram and TikTok. It's at Piscean Moon Divination.
Here, let me put this on the notes so I can write that down when I upload it. Piscean.
Piscean.
Oh shit. Okay. CAN. And then moon and what else?
Divination. Divination.
All
I
right.
know it's a lot.
No, you're good. You're good. And that's your TikTok and Instagram. Perfect. I'll put that in the description when I upload it, and I'll also, because where I always try to post 10 to 15-second clips of the episode on TikTok, on Facebook, on my Instagram page. Um, it's just obviously to spread the word out. I might also try to do it on Polywork, as well, and see how that goes too. See if I can reach audiences there too. Um, but yeah, other than that. Can't wait to can't wait to get a reading on the Zoom meeting.
All right.
Alrighty. All right. Well, you have a good night.
Thank
All
you
right.
again.
All right. Thank you for coming.
Night.
All right. Good night.
hi.
Hello. Can
Can
you
you
hear
hear?
me just fine?
Yes.
All right. Also, kind of eating a bagel, so
Okay.
All right.
So we can, I guess, just jump right into it. The way I do my reading, first I'm going to do a little prayer to myself. I'm going to just call in my guides that I use to protect the energies, to protect the area, make sure that only energies of high vibration can come in. And then I'll go into the reading. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say different things, and I'll ask you, does this resonate with you? And I just want you to say yes or no.
Okay.
You might want to have a pen and paper with you. You don't have to, but you might want to, just to kind of scribble down anything you feel like I say that might be important. Okay.
All right. Let me actually get a pen and paper just so I can be ready.
Okay.
Also decided to get my headphones just so I could listen better.
Okay. Ready?
Oh, hold on. Let me try to make sure everything's good. Okay. My phone here, speaker there. Oh, got my paper, got my pen. Ready.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and start the prayer now. Okay. Now I'm going to start your reading. Okay. There's a man here. He has on like a black suit. He has like a thick black mustache. He's showing me that he used a walker later in life. When he was younger, he was very handsome. He was kind of like a ladies' man. The women liked him a lot. Does any of that resonate?
Yes.
Okay. As he was when he was older, like I said, he used a walker. I also see him being kind of sickly and at home, but he was at home, and I feel like he had a what is it, like a makeshift hospital bed in the home. he likes to flirt. He's on my left side, so I feel like this was this is maternal energy. I feel like this may have been on like your mom's side. Does that resonate?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. He's showing me when he passed, he's showing me himself laying in his casket, and he's showing me bringing my attention to a red rose. I feel like someone put a red rose in the casket with him, or there may have been a rose put on uh his suit. Someone put a rose on his suit. Okay, I think that the house that he was in, it was his house, but I feel like he's showing me a for sale sign in front of a house. So I feel like that his house was either sold or it's being sold. Does any of that resonate?
Yes.
Okay. He's very close to you. He's showing me he's standing next to you and he has his hand on your shoulder while you're doing your podcast. He enjoys watching you do your podcast. He's always standing on your shoulder while you're doing your podcast. He has an energy of being very playful and sneaky. But he definitely loved to flirt. He definitely liked to flirt. He liked the women, and the women liked him. Let's see what kind of message he has for you. He wants you to know that he's with you when you're doing your podcast. He enjoys watching you do your podcast. He's It's something that he would have liked to have done when he was here. He's saying expand that more people. You should talk to more people from uh, more topics, more people from different things, different backgrounds, different topics. He's doing like this. He's like expand, do more. Comfort zone. He's saying step. He wants. He feels you should step out of your comfort zone. And he's saying more women. Interview more women. Does any of this resonate?
Yes.
Okay. He's saying this year he wants you to move up. Your podcast is going to help you move up. He's not saying up towards what, but he's just saying move up. He's saying you can talk to him, ask him for his advice. He's bringing up meditation. I know in your podcast we discussed that you were trying to get back into meditation. So
Mm-hmm.
he's saying you definitely need to get back into meditation, and through meditation you can communicate with him, talk with him. He wants to help you with expanding your podcast. He's showing me he's going back to the when he was walking on the walker, and he's showing me you help him. Did you help someone with help this person with like different day-to-day tasks sometimes? Does that
Uh, I yes. Wait.
resonate? Okay. He's saying he wants to help you because you helped him. Okay, and he keeps repeating like he's with you. He's right here with you. Okay, he's not saying anything else. So that resonates. So you said yes several times. So tell me about this person.
Sounds like my grandpa. Um, well, I did, because obviously both my grandpa from my dad and my mom's side, but they both passed. And you said more, it was coming more from my mom's side, and because you said man with a black suit, thick black mustache. Um, I know when they both passed, neither of them obviously didn't have any thick facial hair, but I believe. I haven't seen young pictures of my grandpa from my mom's side, but I believe my grandpa from my dad's side, I believe he's more of the thick mustache. Um, and with the whole red rose, I mean, I remember I don't know if they put a rose on the suit, but I do know throwing roses on his casket. I mean, obviously I was there. Um, I know. I know the my grandpa of my dad's side. I know he lived next to me, and um, I don't know if he had because I haven't seen him like obviously in a bit, but I know he had like those like those normal hand walkers, but I don't know if he had the double like the two handle ones, however you consider that. Um, but I don't know if that's my grandpa from my mom's side, 'cause I know he got really sick. So I don't know if he was the one that was using that. The for sale sign, because I wrote some of these down. Like how you said, it's good to write them down. The for sale sign on the house, I believe that one did happen. I believe on my dad's side, my grandpa from dad's side, they had a house in Mexico, and I believe they sold it. And And so, because both of them, because when both of them were close from my two grandpas, and damn, that's crazy because I haven't even told you anything about them too. So that's why you told me, I'm like, oh my god, because the minute you kept saying man with a black suit, I'm like, that's weird. I mean, I don't know anyone that's died, but then you just kept explaining. I'm like, what the fuck? This sounds like one of my grandpas. And then you said grandpa. You said grandpa enjoys that I do the podcast. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, like, see, it's hard for me to. What the fuck? But what the? Like, you couldn't get a clear image of like a name or anything, right? Just
No, not this time. Sometimes names will come in for me. Sometimes they don't. It varies for me.
varies. So, because I know when you were asking, I was gonna ask if you could get a name, but then that's when you said you couldn't get anything more out of it. But damn, so I guess my grandpa is watching over me.
Yep. He's
Damn that.
definitely he kept showing me you. sitting like you are now, and he's standing like right next to you, and he has his hand on your shoulder. And when he was showing me himself like that, he was showing me in the a black suit and the rose and standing right next to you. So
I'm wondering because again, I didn't go to my well, way too. I didn't go to his funeral because at the time I believe it was one of those that were like just all of a sudden, like it just happened um pretty quick, and I was at work. Granted, I did take some bereavement leave, but it was one of those that kind of just happened fast enough that we didn't have enough time planned to go and whatever. So I didn't know. I don't know how he looked in his casket, and I believe he may have. Obviously, I know he passed away at the hospital, so I don't know what they did after that. But I know again with my grandpa from my dad's side, um, I believe he was in a black suit, if I do remember correctly. So I'm trying to wonder if it's him, if it's my dad's dad or my mom's. It's one of the two. I mean, I know I have helped both of them before, so I'm just trying to wonder on who it was more because you couldn't see like an image, like a figure or anything. No,
no.
just more kind of like, but then,
And
but then
it possibly could have been both of them coming in, and it
that,
was just meshing together because I've had that happen also. Both
mm-hmm,
two people on that same generational level can come in together and mesh together. So it could have been both of your grandfathers, and it's just that's how the energy was coming in for me.
that could be why because I know in um with the one you said uh more from like your mom's side, and I'm like, well, I know grandpa passed away. Well, I said, well, both passed away from both sides, but um yes, I did have one from my grandpa, so like how you said, it could be um both were here, could be, but shit, that's crazy. I didn't think, damn. And I mean, and made sure to start it before I joined you in, because I know I said you were in the lobby, just so it doesn't look like I pre-told you everything or like said, hey, yada yada yada. Wanted to make sure come in raw, clean, and yeah, that's pretty crazy. I mean, it'd be also nice. Obviously, I don't have my mom here. I mean, she doesn't know how to use any of this. But it would be nice to have her on there too. So then to see, um, with her energy too, to what she's got going on. Um, but yeah, but shit. I mean, I'm glad I have your email, so just in case in the future maybe she's here, because I know she will be here during Christmas. So I don't know if either during Christmas or I can tell my sister, hey, since you know how to use the phone more, maybe do something. But I think it'd probably be better to have her here. So then I just kind of just sit her down here, maybe have her mic'd up, or maybe I can just talk for her because she can speak English, but it's like the choppy, like sometimes very thick accent English. And so I don't know if it'd be kind of hard for her to understand, like for you to understand and whatnot. But shit, I mean. Again, it's surprising me. I might even show this video um to my mom or just send it to my dad and tell them, hey, like watch this over so you can kind of try to depict on who do you think is coming in, or maybe like how you said, maybe both. Um, and with the whole podcast, how they enjoy it, I'm like, what the hell? Like, I don't think. I mean, both of them speak zero English, so I don't know. Um, how they like doing podcasts,
Well,
but shit.
in spirit, language is a 3D thing. You know,
Hmm.
in spirit, it's just about communicating. It's not really a language thing.
Yeah. So I'm feeling, I don't know about the with the podcast. I don't know if that's more of my grandpa from my mom's side, maybe I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure, but damn, with it. Okay, it's still surprising to me because I told you nothing. I told you nothing, and look what popped up. But with damn, and damn, that's kind of sad. You couldn't, nothing more came out, but. Because usually, do they last 30 minutes, or is it just kind of depends on the energy?
It depends on the energy. Uh, Sometimes I do readings for an hour, and it can last an hour, and then
Wow.
sometimes it'll just be 30 minutes. But I know you're going to attach this to our other podcast, so I figured I didn't want to take it, too long.
Oh,
So,
no, that's fine. I mean, really, as long as you need to. And that's all. Either way, I'm attaching it to it, so people can be like, "Holy shit!" Like it's real. It's for them to say. It's for me to tell them this was real. And I don't know if it was just either mentally or whatever, but why you kept telling me just like a lot of the stuff. Um, for some reason my shoulders felt heavier.
mm,
Like I kept I don't know if I caught it on video, but I felt like I kind of like stood up, not stood up, like I sat up a bit and did this with my shoulders because they felt a little bit heavier.
mhm.
I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, or I don't know if with the energy that you were bringing was just making it heavier. I don't like more tense. I don't know.
It could have
Um,
been. It could have been. Both of your grandfathers standing on your shoulders, like right there at your shoulders, because you can. I know for me, um, my grandmother, my maternal grandmother and great grandmother and grandfather, when they come in for me to talk to me, they come on this side, and it's like
mhm,
this whole side of my body gets heavy. And then my father's family, when they come in, then this side gets heavy. So
mm.
that could be that the fact that they were both shoulders were heavy, that may have been why I was picking up, both grandfathers. So
Good because while you're telling me, I was like, wow, why does it feel heavier? Because in my mind, I'm like, it is just me being like slouched down for that long, but I'm like, no, I mean, I don't, I don't think it's ever been that heavy, but shit, I mean, you do some amazing work. I'm
thank
gonna say
you.
that I don't know. Again, I don't know how. Um, I'm gonna send that portion to. I don't know if I should send it. I want to send it to all of them. I don't know if I want to send it to like my brother or my dad, and then they can show my mom and try to depict them, but or even my brother. And just ask him, hey, what do you think? Who do you think out of the two grandpas was coming in, or do you think both of them were coming in, or whatever? Uh, yeah, but again, thank you for doing this. This was actually really amazing. Again, I mean, I have it recorded. This will, yours will come out this Sunday,
Okay.
uh, 11 a.m. Central Time, so 12 p.m. Eastern Time, and yeah, I mean, I'll excuse me. So it'll be on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. I mean, really everywhere, wherever you wanna. If you ever want to just go look at it again, or if you ever want to tell people, hey, Um, and I mean, and even in that last chunk, if people ever never think like, if you ever want to like do readings on people and they don't like fully believe you, you can always say, well, I did a podcast with this person. You can go ahead and listen if you want. You can maybe answer maybe some questions he asked me, I answered, and we did the session, and so you guys can see it yourself. And yeah, I mean, you can spread the word again. We'll have this uploaded Sunday. We'll have it be done ready Sunday. Do you have like a Facebook or anything that I can like tag you in, or
I
um,
have Facebook. I have Instagram and
I
TikTok.
could do Instagram and TikTok. I know TikTok. Um, I know you told me about that. Of um, I remember you. Let's see. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Is it Piscean or Piscean?
Like Piscean Moon Divination.
Piscean Moon Divination. Yep. So I do remember I wrote it down right here. I do remember I wrote that down. But I'll try to follow you and add you on. Well, I guess follow you both on TikTok and Instagram. And so
Okay.
then when I upload the short, the TikTok on TikTok and then on Instagram as well. I'll try to tag you on there and tell people to follow you. You know, all the fun stuff.
Thank
But
you. And thank you for letting me do your reading. Thank you for having me on your podcast. I appreciate it.
thank you for wanting to. I mean, again, never used polywork and decided to use it, and definitely gonna use it more. So, well, again, thank you. Any last words that you'd like to say?
Uh,
All right, perfect. So you do have me on Polywork. You do have my email just in case you ever want to come back on again, or if let's say like my brother and whatnot are here and I can get them to do it, or like my mom, I can get them to do it. And if you ever want to do it, if you ever want to talk, you know, even just outside, you got all your stuff here. So, you have a great rest of your day.
you too. And you have a good holiday.
Oh, thank you. You too.
Thank you.
See, anything special you're doing for Christmas?
Probably not. I mean, I
Probably
have
not.
kids, so I'll do the gift thing. But
Mm.
besides that, probably not.
Well, luckily, being Mexican, I'm gonna be eating like the tamales and all the fun stuff. So,
Oh,
yeah, I'm thinking of making brisket. I'd like to make some beef brisket. But unfortunately, the apartment that I have, um, we're not allowed like any smokers, like anything to do with gas, other than whatever's already pre-built. If if like any like grills or anything, it has to be like electric. So I'm hoping. Um, because I mean they have like those community provided like the grills, like the stovetop grills. But I don't know if I want to use that. I'm hoping if I can find a way to make it in the oven and see if it turns out as good in the oven. I hope. I mean, I looked at some YouTube videos and some look pretty good, but again, I don't know if I want to spend the fat money on it and it not turn out that like that, and then it just went to waste. But I don't know.
well, my
Alrighty.
cousin is the cook. She's a chef. Like she's a trained chef. So I'll
Yeah.
be eating whatever she cooks.
Oh, lucky, 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 lucky.
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't even consider myself like a home chef. I'm just kind of just I just know like how to cook some stuff. I mean, if you told me to make some like I don't know some sauce, I'd say honestly I don't know how to make that type of sauce. But if you told me how to cook a steak, I'd say I'll cook the steak the way I know it. Like chicken and whatnot, I'll cook it the way I know it. Um, but I don't want to go so fancy. I don't make all these fancy sauces or any shit like that. So, but yeah, like I said, Sunday you'll I'll see if I can tag you. I know I've been having some trouble, so I'll see if I can tag you on TikTok. I'll be able to do it, but Instagram I'll try. Um, and then yeah, like I said, I'll probably also send you an email and a message on Polywork saying, hey, you know it's out. If you ever want to share it to friends, family, to even like kind of keep it in an archive, so then if people you can always show it to people and say, hey, you know, like this, like what I do does work. Like here's proof of it, and uh, and yeah, I mean, but other than that, I mean, yeah, I think we're good.
All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you, and you have a great rest of your day.
You too.
All right, bye bye.
Bye bye.